Chilling temperatures, snow-packed roadways. What kind of weather can we expect for St. Louis this year? I've got the full winter outlook so you and your family are best prepared.
When temperatures get really cold, a lot of problems will start to show their face.
Plus the safety measures to check off your list now so your home stays warm.
It spawned a series of tornadoes actually over 3 states.
Balmy weather to deadly winds. We take a look back at the bi-state's history into the deadliest winter tornadoes. Manning the roads with less manpower. How our transportation departments are adjusting to staffage shortages. And we can't forget the ones who call outside home.
So obviously the seals and sea lions aren't really going to wear any coats or hats or anything.
How the St. Louis Zoo preps its animals for the bitter cold. Buckle up, we're getting you ready for wintertime in St. Louis. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm 5 on your side Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell. Tonight, the most accurate weather team in the bi-state is here to prepare you for wintertime in St. Louis. Living in the Midwest, we all know how bizarre the weather can be. So let me give you a glimpse into the next few months to show you what kind of winter I'm expecting. Most likely, the above-average temperature trend will continue into the winter. The Pacific Ocean holds the key to the larger climate patterns that drive our seasonal weather. La Nina is once again with us this winter as water temperatures have continued to fall below average the last couple of months over the equatorial Pacific. A moderate La Nina is expected to continue throughout the winter months, much like we saw last winter. Traditionally, this weather pattern is one that keeps us warmer than average as it shoves the jet stream farther north, limiting how much cold air we see. Overall, we do expect a warmer than average winter, but there will be occasional outbreaks of Arctic air heading our way. It all hinges around the polar vortex delivering the cold air to our area. Last December and January were relatively mild, and then the polar vortex unleashed brutal cold for February. Indications are the coldest of air will be north and east of us for much of the winter. The end of October into early November give us clues as to how the jet stream will behave this winter. In the past few weeks, we've seen some impressive storm systems move across the Midwest. So what about rain, snow, and ice? Near or a bit above average precipitation is expected, but we must have the colder air available and a favorable storm track for us to get a good snow. Our snow chances look limited again this winter, and icy weather is a possibility. December is warmer than average, January a little below average, and February right now looks about average. Rain and snow will likely be near average for us, but don't discount the possibility of an impactful winter storm, especially during January into February. If the wavy jet stream pattern dips well to our west, we may also have to keep a severe weather eye out for any volatile weather patterns. And remember, you can always stay up to date with the latest weather forecast on the 5 on Your Side app and at ksdk.com. We're 1 month away from Spire's pipeline permit expiring in St. Louis, which could shut off the gas for 500,000 customers. Spire says the pipeline keeps St. Louis from experiencing any of the winter shutoffs a winter storm could cause, like in Texas earlier this year. But some elected leaders from the city and county say that warning is overblown.
Spire is using a crumb of uncertainty to create fear and distract from its self-dealing.
If it runs out in an area, then what we have to do is go in and start physically shutting down homes and businesses in sectors so we can keep the rest of the system propped up.
Now, a decision on whether or not the Spire pipeline would be extended will come this week, or at least it could. Now, nearly half of the natural gas Ameren, Illinois customers will use this winter is actually already in the state, but you might be surprised where it's stored.
So Illinois has some natural geological formations that make it beneficial to store gas in the ground.
You'll find them deep under the farm fields of Illinois.
These are depleted oil and natural gas fields, so the gas was taken out at one time. So we repurposed them. We take gas from the pipelines, put it into the ground.
A dozen storage facilities are across Illinois, including this one south of Freeburg.
We're putting all the gas in during the summer months. We start early around April.
That's when the demand for natural gas is lower.
Two big benefits. One is it's an additional supply of gas that we have the gas right here in Illinois now that we can use in the wintertime. And the other thing is prices are generally cheaper in the summertime.
Now, we're definitely not into the brunt of winter yet, but now is the time to prepare your home. 5 on Your Side's Anthony Slaughter looked into the best things to do around your house before December.
We know every winter temperatures cool down outside, but inside your home it's heating up. To make sure your furnace functions through the colder winter months properly, I spoke to a technician at Vogel Heating and Cooling.
The most important thing to remember, keeping those air filters clean. Rick Barge, a Vogel technician, says clogged air filters are the #1 reason for house visits.
A blocked up filter, you're going to be breathing those contaminants. Another reason is it does starve the air or starves the furnace for air.
How often are you supposed to change your air filter?
1-inch filters, 1-inch wide filters, should at least be checked once a month and changed as needed. The thicker filters, they're able to go a little bit longer. We recommend checking those every 6 months, maybe changing them once a year.
How do you properly change the air filter?
The arrow always points toward the furnace.
And what about a furnace tune-up?
We want to make sure that your gas pressure is tuned up right, up to specs. We want to make sure that the temperature that it's putting out is within specs.
Why does it seem like the winter months more problems arise?
When temperatures get really cold, a lot of problems will start to show their face. When it's mild out, a lot of problems don't really show up right away.
And when that furnace kicks on, remember, they do put out carbon monoxide.
So furnaces, yes, they do produce carbon monoxide. And how could somebody detect that? Unfortunately, they can't unless they have the right tools.
And Rick has some advice on those space heaters.
We certainly don't recommend them. And the other thing that we recommend, never leave them unattended. Do your best not to go to sleep with them on.
Anthony Slaughter, 5 on your side.
Now here are the top 3 money-saving tips to help you hack your high heating bill. Check your doors and windows. You don't want to let that warm air you're paying for leak outside. You can lower the thermostat 10 to 15 degrees overnight. This actually can cut your costs up to 10%. And reverse the direction of the ceiling fans so that the blades actually push the warm air from the top of the room down. For more tips on how to save money on your heating bill, text SAVE to 314-425-5355. In the event of an ice storm that could cause a serious issue with power outages, I caught up with Ameren to see what workers go through to keep neighborhoods out of the dark.
Ice storms are the worst storms that we have.
Freezing rain creates a glaze of ice on cars, trees, and power lines. It's not only a problem for travel, but can lead to power outages.
We design our systems to handle up to a ½ inch of ice, which is a lot of ice. You get some high winds, ice on the trees, all these things compound, and that creates the problems on the system.
To prevent the problems, Ameren, Missouri and Ameren, Illinois have been storm hardening the system. That includes adding composite poles to limit outages.
Poles will start to break, they'll hit one of those composite poles and stop, and that eliminates the cascade effect for multiple poles falling down.
While these efforts can lower chances of widespread outages, crews are ready to tackle what Mother Nature throws our way.
Ask any lineman, what they typically will say is we'd rather work 3 spring storms than 1 ice storm. You're bundled up, heavy clothing, it's cold, daylight hours are very short, everything, your tools, your equipment is cold, the trucks are cold. It's a challenging condition.
We obviously could use more. I mean, we face the same challenges as everyone else.
The staffing shortage putting IDOT crews in a bind. Plus,
Old Man Winter, will he bring sleet, freezing rain, ice, or snow? It's all up to him. We'll see what's under his sleeves. Ready or not, though, winter is coming. And of course, we want you to be safe on the roadways. Getting those roads clear, that's up to those.
road safety is something that's a concern every time snow blankets the roads. This year, it's a concern if we even have enough crews to plow the streets. Our traffic specialist, Monica Adams, looks into the dilemma facing MoDOT and St. Louis County transportation leaders.
I am nervous. I am nervous because we are down employees. 70 employees have left MoDOT statewide each of the last 6 months.
We're currently department-wide short roughly 30 plow operators.
It's a theme all throughout transportation. There are jobs to be filled, training to get you ready, and even benefits.
We have many different positions.
We may be a male-dominated business, but we do have females that work here, and we're encouraging more females to come and work for us.
Now, supplies aren't the issue. They're stocked with salt, brine, and beet juice. The only concern is having enough workers.
It's going to take us as an agency longer to clear roads during those major events.
Our response times will almost inevitably be delayed.
Now, one of the key factors in the loss of drivers?
Retirements have played a role in the situation we're looking at right now.
When you see this accomplished and see our roads clean, it makes you feel good.
As we inch closer to the first snowfall, your patience will be paramount.
It is going to take the Missouri Department of Transportation longer to clear the roadways.
But it won't be necessarily the quick response that residents may have seen in previous years.
I've got my scraper ready. We'll see what Old Man Winter has up his sleeve. Reporting from MoDOT's Ballast Maintenance Facility, Monica Adams for 5 on Your Side.
Well, now is the time to make sure your car's winterized. 4 things you can remember and do right now: check your batteries and your tires, install new windshield wipers, and pack your car's emergency kit. Here's what you should have in your emergency kit: a cell phone charger, a blanket, a first aid kit, some bottled water and snacks in case you get stuck, an ice scraper, of course, a flashlight, and don't forget the extra batteries. You can also get some traction aids or traction kits, those grips you can buy for the bottom of your shoes, as well as the attachment for your tires. That helps with driving through the ice and snow. I keep a cheap bucket of kitty litter in the trunk. That can also help with traction as well. In Illinois, Department of Transportation drivers have had some practice icing runs and are getting ready for whatever winter throws at them this year. Here's Tracy Hinson.
Well, this is actually one of our satellite locations, so it's actually split between 2 yards.
Quiet now, but in the winter, it's a popular pit stop for drivers making their routes between Jerseyville and Wood River.
They can load up in the main yards, and then the auxiliary barn behind us has salt, has all the chemicals that we would need.
Speaking of salt, IDOT is super prepared this year.
Thanks to the Rebuild Illinois program, we actually loaded up over the summer.
Salt hasn't gone out yet, but thanks to those frosty mornings in early November, drivers got in some brine runs.
So we have actually already started our winter prep. We've stretched out some of the trucks. We've put on the spinners, the spreaders, and a few plows just in case.
Like MoDOT, IDOT needs people to get behind the wheel this year too.
We obviously could use more. I mean, we face the same challenges as everyone else.
Monroe says they have enough drivers to cover snow days, but need more to keep to a tight schedule. Tracy Hinson, 5 on Your Side.
Still to come tonight, you and I aren't the only ones having to prepare for winter. How the St. Louis Zoo animals get ready for the cold. Plus,
in St. Louis, tornadoes can happen in any month. Coming up, I'll tell you about 3 deadly winter tornadoes that tore through our area.
normally when we think of winter weather, we think of snow, sleet, and ice. But tornadoes aren't out of the question. Meteorologist Jim Castillo takes us back to some of the worst tornadoes in St. Louis's history.
Our most recent tornado outbreak, October 24th, at least 5 tornadoes in our area, 2 strong long-track tornadoes, one around Fredericktown and the other staying on the ground for over 42 miles, hitting Kaufman and St. Mary, Missouri, and continuing on into Chester, Illinois, with lots of destruction and no deaths. Spring tornadoes are common, winter tornadoes are rare. 3 deadly, very large tornadoes have hit our area in the heart of winter. New Year's Eve 2010, this tornado outbreak started before noon. The strongest hit Sunset Hills in St. Louis County. 1 person lost their life and 6 were injured.
It was a warm, balmy day, so you had this cold front running into warm air again, and it spawned a series of tornadoes actually over 3 states.
This strong, long-track tornado, 4th worst in our area, staying on the ground for over 21 miles through St. Louis County. First touching down at 6:55 in the evening at Olive Street Road.
When it came into the St. Louis area, it touches down just south of Creveport Lake and on Olive Street area. And it made a path that went through Maryland Heights, Berkeley, St. Anne, Ferguson, and over to Spanish Lake.
Hundreds of businesses devastated, hundreds of people injured, 3 people died.
On February 10, 1959, there was an extremely strong storm that moved through the St. Louis area. It was a nocturnal storm. It hit at 2:12 in the morning here in St. Louis. But it actually originated out near Sullivan, Missouri, and it moved in this northeast direction.
That tornado turned deadly right where I'm standing. Now, a house once stood right here at the corner of Delmar Boulevard and Whittier Street, not far away from the old Gaslight Square. Here's the large home, this courtesy of the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. The house collapsed the night of the storm. A mother, 5 children, and 2 others died. Part of the roof of the old arena where the Blues used to play came off. Also, a tall TV tower was toppled. It's the 3rd worst in St. Louis history, and it hit when most people were sleeping.
In that storm, 21 people lost their lives, and there were well over 200 casualties in terms of injuries. There was something like 205 people that had to be rescued from their homes because the buildings had just collapsed.
In St. Louis, it's necessary to pay attention to the weather and always stay weather aware. Meteorologist Jim Castillo, 5 on your side.
And tonight, the winter preparations don't stop with us. We catch up with the St. Louis Zoo to see how the animals stay warm when the temperatures get cold. Now, this is the time of year we turn the heat up inside and bundle up to go outside. But not all animals are like us. 5 on your side's Tracy Hinson introduces us to a cold-loving mammal and 2 species that need help warming up like we do.
Talking about takin.
The only animal in the Red Rock section of the zoo that doesn't need a heated barn.
They have a really long nose, which heats up the air before it gets to their lungs, so they don't burn a lot of energy just trying to stay warm.
Well, our human noses aren't quite long enough for that, so we bundle up. Now, another species has a different way to bundle up, and hint, some of us do this during Thanksgiving. So obviously the seals and sea lions aren't really going to wear any coats or hats or anything, but by getting more fish over the winter time, they build up that nice thick blubber layer, which is that layer of fat right underneath the skin that really helps to insulate them and keep them warm.
There's another animal at the zoo that needs more than just a feast to stay warm. And this one might surprise you, the Humboldt penguins.
Our winters here are slightly colder than what they would have in Peru. So what we are able to do is provide them with just a little bit of heat. When they are in their habitat, our vents blow warm air at them. So if they want to, they can come and stand in the vents. And we also give them the choice to come inside.
So while not all animals can be like takin and are made for winter, others like seals and some penguins are more like us humans than we would expect.
And you know, there'll come a day where Penguin and Puffin Coast will kind of feel warm. Thanks for joining us tonight. Be sure to download the 5 on Your Side app for weather updates sent straight to your phone as we head into wintertime in St. Louis.